What's up, motherfuckers? Hey, everybody. So I see that video I posted with the little kids is flying. Y'all are watching that about the kid in the shitty diaper. But our kids get taken away. Our kids get taken away because we struggle with addiction. But these kids who have their shitty diapers on and their moms are fucking sleeping while they're fucking running in the street get to stay with their parents. Like, that's what I don't understand. You know? I see it time and time again. Me and my husband, when we had Nathaniel taken, we would go to these parenting classes and stuff. And while we would be in the parenting classes, there would be people in there that smelled like marijuana, and that were just like bottom of the barrel pieces of shit. But they still had custody of their kids, and me and my husband were like, "What the hell?" I was in my addiction for 15 years, from the time I was 17 years old till the time I was 31 or 32. You know? So I see it time and time again. And those are the people, like I said, whose children will be left in their care. It's sad and it's discouraging, you know? So I wanted to jump on here and chit chat with you guys because, thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. I wanted to come on here and chit chat with you guys because I hadn't came on in a couple days. Just so you guys know, if you want to subscribe to my TikTok, there's a little gold star up there. You can subscribe. It's only if you want to. It's just to support me and my TikTok channel. If you don't want to, I totally understand. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking out of here and going to the top of my account and clicking the link for my YouTube channel. And I'd love to have you over there as well. I have been uploading a lot of videos on YouTube. Every time I go live here, I download it. And so I just uploaded Rena's story over there, and I uploaded a video all about trauma. And so the other day I was doing a worksheet with you guys that was talking about trauma, and it was asking, have I ever experienced like mental abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse? And I was sharing with you guys, the different kinds of abuse that I have experienced. And whenever I would share my story, I would always say, like, I don't have any trauma. I had a great life when I was growing up, because I did. I had a great childhood. But that didn't mean that I was exempt from experiencing any kind of trauma. And so when I was a little kid, the earliest memory I can remember of trauma is my dad spanking me and my sisters with a belt and chasing us around the house, popping it, scaring us, And then after that, I can remember other traumatizing events. Like when I was 7, I got CSA'd whenever I was in California at my grandma's house. And I never talked about that until I was 14 years old. I never told a soul. And so those are traumatic instances that I just kind of buried in the back of my mind. And I used drugs and alcohol to block them out. And so by talking about those things, it helps me. You know what I mean? It helps me to be free from that. But that's what that video was about. It was about trauma. So today, I guess I just want to come on here and chit chat with you guys. I got a comment from a girl who was asking about if she had been using opiates, if she stopped using opiates 9 weeks before her due date, would her child go through withdrawal? Absolutely. If you are using opiates and you quit, when you go through withdrawal, your baby's going to go through withdrawal. And that's really dangerous. You could kill your baby. Your baby could die. So what you need to do, if you're pregnant and addicted, you need to go and get onto Subutex. You need to go to a MAC clinic and get on subs. It's okay, baby. I'm okay now. I've gotten past that and my life is great now. But, when I was younger, the way I was brought up and the way I am is that when bad stuff happened to me, like it happened and then I would handle it and then I would move on from it. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't ever stay focused on it. Good, Holly, good. And see, that's what happened with me is that Nathaniel just came out, completely healthy, and his APGAR scores were perfect. And a lot of people get upset with me when I say that, but it's the truth. It's a 50-50 chance when you have your kid, whether or not they're going to have drugs in their system or not. You know what I mean? And so some people's kids don't. But hey, Tiffany, what's up, girl? You guys, I have been blowing up on Facebook. If you guys are not posting Facebook Reels, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. I mean, I have been posting Reels, at least 2 or 3 Reels every day, and I've already got almost 30,000 people over there on Facebook. Oh, are y'all talking about that house? Okay, so I found that video here on TikTok. I was just scrolling through and I found the video and I had to show you guys because those are the kind of situations where the child will be left in the home, and CPS comes and yanks kids out of homes where the mother and father are struggling with addiction, but they love their child. They take good care of their child. They're just struggling. Instead, what they should do is put a safety plan in place and let those parents get help and, put their kid with family members. But what they do is they yank the kid out from underneath them and then they leave those children in situations like that. Like, I have seen that. You know what? California is a shithole CPS system. They leave more kids in the home to get killed than I've ever seen. Every time I'm reading about a little baby that dies, it's because they're in a CPS care in California.
That must have been one of his friends.
And that's why I was talking about CPS on here and I made those videos about not talking to them. It's not because I'm trying to support people who abuse their children. It's because I'm trying to help good people who are in situations like I was. When Nathaniel got taken away from me, you guys, he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been at all. He should have been placed with my mother and father-in-law. But the state of Arkansas, they were fucking with me, dude. They even said, we're not going to take your child. As long as you can go to this treatment center, it's going to be okay, right? And then when the treatment center wouldn't take me, they said, never mind, we're taking your child. I could have went to another treatment center. Do you see what I'm saying? It was just ass backwards. What? What's going on, Tiffany? You want to talk about it? You want to come on here and talk about it? Why is she doing that to you, dude? Sorry, guys. I cannot understand that, man. Like, she just needs to get over it. Like, she was just literally saying she wasn't going to talk about that anymore. My cousin is a foster mom, and stories that she tells me are so sad. Oh, she's at it again. Thousands of cases open their budget, just can't handle it, and they overlook a lot. Yeah, they overlook a lot. Absolutely. What I think happens is I think that they get occupied with harassing the wrong families. Okay, like I said, they come into families' lives like me and my husband, who we're good people. My mother and father-in-law, we all lived in the same house at the time. My husband was working full-time. I was taking care of Nathaniel, and we were struggling with addiction. Any time that we wanted to leave and go use we would leave my mother and father-in-law with my son. We wouldn't take my son with us to go to the trap house. We weren't running all over the place. For the most part, we had a lot of support from his family, but even though I was under the influence, I still took care of my son. I still fed him. I still changed him. I still bathed him. I did all that kind of stuff. And I know many, many, many mothers and fathers who drink alcohol, and nobody says a damn thing to them. Nobody comes up in there and takes their kids, Yeah, Lisa, that was pretty bad, huh, girl? What's the $5.99 for? Please explain. Thanks so much for calling the cops. I hope the kids got help. Okay, so that $5.99 is for my subscription. It's only if you want to do it. So what we're doing with my $5.99, so it's a subscription service. If you click that little star right there, you can subscribe to my live streams. It's a way to support me. Only if you want to, okay? But what I'm doing with the money that I raised from those subscriptions is I'm taking it, and each month we are picking a person in recovery that's new in recovery, and we are buying them some things for their new journey of recovery. So this month I got with Crystal from Sober Barbie, and she has a girl that she picked out that is in treatment, that is graduating, and she's going to be moving into sober living. So we're taking it because we only made $50 this last month. We're taking the $50 and we're buying her a gift certificate. Okay, and then some little slippers and a robe and a throw for her bed. And that's going to be for her newcomer package. And so that's what I'm using it for. But other people just use it and keep the money. But I wanted to do something special, you know what I mean? So that way we could help somebody. Because I have enough I make enough money for my job, you know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do with it. So if y'all subscribe and hit that star, you will be helping a newcomer in recovery every month. So this month we did a young lady, okay? So next month we're going to be doing a guy. But I have to wait because TikTok doesn't pay us until the 15th. And so it rolls over into the next month. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to videotape it when I get it, and then also Sober Barbie, Crystal, is going to videotape it when she gifts it to the girl. So that way we can show you guys. Okay. What happened, Lisa? Who passed away? People think that functioning addicts aren't a thing. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that are functioning addicts. It's not that we don't believe that they're a thing. I was a functioning addict too at the beginning. As my addiction progressed, it got worse and worse and worse. When I first started using drugs and alcohol, in fact, all the way until I met my husband in 2012. So throughout my whole addiction, I worked full-time jobs because I had to. I had to be able to fund my habit. If I didn't work, I couldn't get high. You know what I mean? So I always had a job, okay? And in fact, I accelerated at my jobs. Anytime I had a job, I was always promoted within the first 2 to 5 months. Hey, Heather, what's up, girl? I was assistant manager of the Kroger Deli. I was an assistant manager at the restaurant I worked for. I was head over the bartending and waitresses at another place that I worked at. I always excelled very much. So a lot of us addicts worked jobs when we were in our active addiction. But the thing about it is, when we are functioning at what level, right? So if I have to use drugs and alcohol to get throughout my day, how healthy is that? That's not a way you want to live, so functioning or not, you're still killing yourself, I was addicted to methamphetamine, cocaine, benzodiazepines, and opiates. So I was a polysubstance abuser. I was addicted to multiple substances. My addiction started out with drinking alcohol. Okay, I started drinking and I loved the way alcohol made me feel. And so at 17, I was getting drunk as a skunk. Then I tried stimulants because I had tried Adipex when I was a kid. I had gotten prescribed it for my weight loss. I think I was 15 or 16 when it got prescribed. And when I tried it for the first time, I was like, this is amazing. And so I really liked it, but I didn't ever mess with it again. Well, then after I got to drinking and I got, kind of out there because I was a kid, I was going to parties and stuff. That's when I was introduced to methamphetamine. And I tried methamphetamine and cocaine, and I was like, I don't like cocaine because it doesn't last long enough. I'm going to stick with the methamphetamine. And so I started using meth on a daily basis at the age of 17. After I graduated high school, I started just using multiple substances, methamphetamine, opiates. One of my best friends, she had actually became addicted to injecting Oxycontin. And I had never injected at this point, so I would just snort them. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to opiates, was through one of my, 17 years old, I got a prescription for opiates, got my teeth pulled out. And that's when I realized that they made me feel good. But I didn't really get hooked until I graduated and my friend was injecting them. And so that's when I got on pain pills. So, but I was always I was always addicted to meth. Okay. So like a lot of people don't understand my story. Like methamphetamine was my drug of choice, but I was also heavily addicted to opiates. I used opiates like all the time, like daily. But I would also use methamphetamine interchangeably with that. It's kind of weird. If we all sat down and there was like a plethora of drugs laying around, like most of the time I would choose methamphetamine first. You know what I mean? And so that is why I have to tell you that I was addicted to multiple. Will you get ice water for me? Okay. That's why I told you guys that I was addicted to multiple substances, because I was addicted to all of it. Methamphetamine is what caused me the most trouble, though. When I was 22 or 23, I was driving, riding in my car, and my friend was driving, and we got busted. We got pulled over, and I had methamphetamine in my purse. I had a syringe, and I got charged with possession of a controlled substance, a Class C felony, and I was placed on probation. Okay, I stayed on probation for like a year, but I was failing all my drug tests. So eventually my probation officer revoked my probation and sent me to prison. Hey, Raquel. Hey, Kelly. What's up? And when I went to prison, I was like, I'm never getting high again, right? And so I did my little year in prison. I got out and I paroled out to a sober living house because my probation officer said I couldn't go back to where I came from, the Hot Springs. So I paroled out to sober living, and for 9 months I was able to stay sober, and then I relapsed. And this was something that happened to me every single time. I would get sober and I would get about 6 to 9 months sober and I would relapse. And that is why I finally got on MAT. I had to. Okay, because all the times that I kept on relapsing, it was just evident to me that abstinence wasn't going to work for me. And so I needed to do something different. And you guys, I didn't know about MAT. I had been in and out of treatment for 10 years and I was never offered it, for my opiate addiction. It wasn't until my husband actually got on it when I was in rehab, and told me, hey, when you were in rehab, I went ahead and got on subs. And when he told me that, I was so mad. So mad. Yes, I did go cold turkey in jail. I was so mad when he told me that, and because I had just gotten out of treatment, right? And I had 30 days sober. And I was mad at him because I felt like he was trying to, do stuff trying to get over, right? But what ended up happening is like a week went by and I was struggling. And so he took me to the doctor, and the doctor was like, this medication was made for people like you who relapse all the time, right? And you don't have to be ashamed. We'll help you get off of it, and all that. And so that's when I finally gave it a try. And I'm grateful that I did, because honestly, you guys, if I hadn't, I would have lost custody of my son. Because I relapsed while I was in treatment. I relapsed on Xanax the first 2 weeks I was in treatment. And so they had already told me if I relapsed again that they were going to terminate my rights. And so it was like this. You either get the fucking help and you stay sober, or you lose your kid, And so I made a choice. I fucking sacrificed and made that choice to get on MAT. Even though I didn't really believe in it, right? I didn't really believe in it. I didn't really support it. And that's because I was ignorant and I didn't know anything about it, And that's what I see happens with a lot of people here on TikTok, is that they're ignorant. They just don't know. They don't understand. And so when they hear us talking about MAT, medication-assisted treatment, Jen. So It used to be just methadone. So methadone is what they first started out with, doing medication-assisted treatment. But then Suboxone came along, and now they use Suboxone mostly. But it's a medication that you take that is a partial opioid agonist, and it helps to block your receptors from being able to get high on other opiates. And it also helps with cravings, and it also helps with the withdrawal when you're going through withdrawal. And so a person can get on MAT, and what it does is it totally balances that person out. So when I got on MAT, excuse me, I had 30 days sober from opiates. So when I got on MAT, it made me really tired at first. Like it really, really did. But after that first week, I felt normal. I felt normal. I didn't want to get high. I didn't have any cravings. Like it was a miracle, y'all, a miracle. And then I started going to meetings and I started going to therapy, and that helped me even more. I had never had a time where I didn't want to get high or wasn't like thinking about using drugs. And MAT helped relieve that for me. It helped me with all the drugs I was addicted to, you know, because I was addicted to multiple drugs. And so that's why I'm such a huge advocate for MAT, because I know so many people try to get sober through abstinence and they're unsuccessful, you know. And so why, if you're unsuccessful like I was at getting sober through abstinence only, then why don't you give MAT a try? Okay? And when you want to, you can taper off of it. But instead of killing yourself and continuing to relapse and risking your life, why don't you do something different? You know, and that's the way the doctor explained it to me. He said, Nicole, what have you always done? And I said, well, I'll go to treatment. I come out of treatment. I get a sponsor. I go to meetings. I work the 12 steps. And then around 6 months, I relapse. He said, okay, then why are you going to continue to do the same thing that you've always done if you keep getting the same result? And the reason why I kept doing the same thing was because that's what people told me was the right thing to do. No one ever told me that there was other ways to get and stay sober. Nobody ever told me that there was a medicine that could help me. Okay? And so that is the problem. A lot of people are never told about medication assisted treatment. So they continue in this fucking hamster wheel, relapsing, sober, relapse, get sober, relapse, get sober. And many people lose their lives because they get sober for a little bit, then they relapse and they go back to using the way they were, and they overdose and they die. And so that is exactly what happened to me. I had been trying for so many years, and it wasn't because I wasn't unwilling. It wasn't because I didn't want to be sober. I wanted to be sober. I wanted to change my life. I would give it my all. Okay? I would do everything my sponsor told me to do. My addiction was strong, though, y'all. Strong. And the habits that I had adopted through my addiction were hard habits to break. Okay? The things I used to do in my active addiction took me years to stop doing. Okay? Years. Because I had been doing them for 15 years, you know? They were a working part of my mind. So, anyway, I'm sorry if I made you guys upset when I put up that video of that little kid, but I had to show y'all. I had to show you guys. When I saw that poor baby in that diaper, and I thought, you know what? This little baby's going to get left there. You just watch and see. The police will get called. The mom will make some excuses, and nothing will get done. And that little baby will be up in there suffering. Can you imagine being a little kid, like running around the parking lot, fucking out into the street because your parents are like passed out? You know, like, I understand, and I know there's situations where, you know, like maybe mom fell asleep because she was super exhausted, but never for that long, you know what I mean? And if somebody calls her name, she jumps right up, you know? Nathaniel, when he was little, he never, ever got out of our sight. He was, no way, no how. No way, no how. And, like I said, my mother and father-in-law helped me out a lot, too. So, anyways, I just wanted to jump on here and chit chat with y'all for a little bit. If y'all want to talk about anything, let me know. Hey, Juliana, what's up, girl? I did go live over on Facebook too, and put a live up on there, and I also put up a new live over on my YouTube channel. It was good. Y'all should go watch it. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it is Discovering Nicole, just like everything else is. I used to go by Real Talk Recovery, but in 2021, I had a scandal. I had these girls trying to cancel me, making videos about cancel Real Talk Recovery, and I didn't want to bring that shit into the new year with me, so I changed my name to Discovering Nicole. Yes, elderberry, I do. I take Lexapro, Wellbutrin, and 1/4 milligram of Suboxone. And I'm doing really, really good. I don't even take it every day. I take it as I need it. And so I've been doing very, very well. I'm very proud of the progress that I have made. And here's the thing. I might stay on medication until my son graduates high school, because I'm telling you guys, it helps me to stay on track. It helps me to stay focused. It helps me to stay sober, and I don't want to risk anything. I don't want to risk anything to lose my son. You know what I mean? I really, really, it's important to me to stay sober and stay on the right path. I've worked so hard to get custody of my son back that I just don't want to chance it at all. You know what I mean? And my little boy got taken away from me in 2015 because my best friend called CPS on me. And she called CPS on me out of spite. Okay, out of spite. Very vindictive, trying to hurt and harm me and my family. And she did. She just succeeded. Am I still being monitored? Are you meaning by CPS, or are you talking about with my doctor? Yes, if you're talking about my doctor, absolutely. But if you're talking about CPS, no. My case was closed in 2016, and I'm free bird. Not everybody, Heather. I mean, it really just depends. You don't have to at all. The option was given to me to taper at my he said around 6 months. I talked to him about it, and then he said most people, when they do taper, they taper off around 2 years. But honestly, I was not even close to being ready at that 2-year mark. And I'll be straight up with you guys. I'm just now getting to a point where I feel like I could do it. I had to change every bit of my life, okay? Every bit of my life. I had to learn how to be like a regular person. I didn't know how to function without drugs. I didn't know how to work a job without being high. These were habits, like I said, that took me years and years to break and change. And so when I got on subs, I was just beginning my journey, Good job, Jeremy. But listen to me, Heather, you just do what you got to do, okay? You do what you got to do. Don't focus on the amount of time, okay? Listen to me. So if you were in active addiction for 13 years, I want you to think about that, all right? 13 years. It might take you 7 years to, get to a point where you feel like you're ready, right? Elderberry says, I was tapered too soon over weeks. It was hell. Exactly. And that happens sometimes. People will taper too soon and too fast when they're not ready. Thanks, Jeremy. What I'm telling you guys, this is this. You'll know you're ready when you forget to take your medication. That's what I believe in. That is how I knew that I might be getting to that point where I was ready. Because when I first got on subs, every morning when I woke up, that was my first thought. I got to take my medicine. I got to take my medicine. I got to take my medicine. Okay, after about 3 or 4 years of being on the medication, I started to forget. I started to not focus on, I got to take my medicine. I got to take my medicine. So then I started tapering. And I took almost 2 years to taper from 12 milligrams to the amount I'm on now, to like 1 milligram. It was so slow. Okay, so slow. And honestly, you know what I think, girl? I say, we're old as fuck. Who gives a fuck? If we need to be on subs for the rest of our life, who gives a damn? I'm fucking 40 years old. I ain't gonna party no more. This is as good as it gets, honey. So when I first got on Suboxone, I was on 12 milligrams. I would take 8 milligrams in the morning, and then I would take 4 milligrams in the evening time. Okay? So I always splitted my dose because for me, what would happen is I would take my medicine early in the morning, and then around the midday, I wouldn't be experiencing withdrawal or anything, but I would just kind of feel tired and lethargic. And most of the time I would be at work. So I need a little pep in my step. So that's when I would take my second dose, and that helped me a lot. And when I first got on subs, I had the worst constipation, and so did my husband. And so we started immediately using Miralax. Okay, Miralax, fiber, probiotics, and all that. What did they start you out on 20 years ago, Elderberry? So for me, I started out on 8 milligrams. I could have started out on a lot lower though. If I knew what I knew now, I would have started out on like 2 milligrams because I had been off of opiates for about 30 days. And so I didn't need to start out on that much at all. And that's what I tell people, that are getting ready to start subs. If you can, what I believe is less is more with Suboxone, to me at least. I feel like I get more of the benefits from it when I'm at a lower milligram, and I get less of the side effects that I hate. Like when I was up on 12, I was constipated, sweating, I felt lethargic. And once I started tapering, my sex drive was gone. Once I started tapering down and I got to like 6 milligrams, then I started to have my sex drive come back. I wasn't tired all the time. My sweating was going away. I could poop better. Like it really, really helped me a lot. Well, that there a lot. That what I've heard, you guys, is I've heard that there's some doctors that are using Suboxone to help people get off meth. And I know a girl here on TikTok who her doctor prescribed it to her for her meth addiction. Yeah, that's right, Heather. Also, if you want to, you should start brushing your teeth too. So 20 or 30 minutes before you dose, you should brush your teeth. And then 20 or 30 minutes after you dose, you should brush your teeth. Okay? Because it'll help with the tooth decay. Because they say that because Suboxone is acidic, that it can contribute to tooth decay. So that's what I always tell everybody to do their brushing and stuff too. Hey girl, what's up?
What's up?
Nothing, chilling.
Not much. Just wanted to check on you and see how you're doing.
What
Huh?
are you going live tonight?
You're frozen.
Am I?
I am going live tonight. I'm super excited about it.
What time?
I can't wait. It's going to be 9 o'clock Central.
Okay, so we got 2 hours. Okay, y'all hear that? Tiffany's going live in 2 hours. Are you telling your story?
No, I have somebody else coming on tonight to do that. And I think I'm going to do my story in like the first part of September because I have people scheduled throughout August. So I'm probably, and September is my birthday month. So I think I'm going to wait until my birthday and do a live and do my story.
Okay, who's coming on tonight?
Because um, Dustin Patterson.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but I'll be there.
She is, yeah, she's been really excited.
Oh, that's cool. I know whenever I first started
So how are
interviewing
things going
people.
with you?
Do what? How are things going with what? Well, everything's going
I
good
said, how are
here.
things going with haters?
With what?
Good.
I could.
I'm glad to hear it.
It keeps cutting out on me. Whenever you say something, it cuts out, so I can't hear you all the way. But everything's been going good. I had Rena on um 2 nights ago, and she came and shared her story. She's a heroin addict, and it was amazing. She did really, really good. And then next week, I'm supposed to have. I'm going on this one girl, Nicole's channel on YouTube, and then I'm supposed to get with Jamie and this other girl because they were supposed to come on this last week, but I had no Wi-Fi.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I couldn't do anything.
I worry. I don't have Wi-Fi where I'm at, so sometimes the service is spotty, and I want them to be as good as they could possibly be. If somebody's going to be watching, I want them to be able to hear what's being said.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what was happening to me was because I didn't have Wi-Fi that it was just cutting out all the time. Have you tried, just so you know, if you wanted to start doing lives on your YouTube channel, you can use this app called StreamYards, and it has us both on the screen, and it will actually put it on your YouTube and your Facebook at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, whenever I do YouTube
That's
lives, that's
interesting.
what I
Yeah,
use.
because my ADD brain, I'm going to end up forgetting it.
Oh, I'll text it to you. I'll text you.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, that works. I just wanted to see how you're doing.
All right, girl. I love you. I'll see you tonight on your channel.
Yes, ma'am. I'll see you there.
All right. Bye, baby.
That's Tiffany. Tiffany does interviews like I do over on her TikTok account, you guys, and she also has a YouTube channel where she posts them also. So if you guys are interested in watching those, you should go check it out. I always like watching people share their stories because I can relate to people when they're sharing, It makes me feel more connected. But anyways, I'm going to jump off here, y'all. I love you. I'm here if you need to talk. All you got to do is hit me up in a message, and I'll see you guys later on. I might jump on later on tonight. I'm just going to relax with my husband. He's laying here in bed with me, so I'm going to cuddle up and relax with him for a little bit, and then I'll jump back on and we'll gossip and talk some shit. Okay? All right. Love you.